Rani, welcome to the Forbes India Leadership Awards.
Thank you, Kunal. Thank you.
We could not have chosen a better time to speak. You recently won your first national award for Mrs. Chatterjee versus Norway, something that many believed should have happened years ago. You delivered your first hit in Mardaani 3 for this year, a franchise that you owned and how. And you completed 30 years in the Hindi film industry. Quite remarkable. How do you look back at this journey, incredible journey?
I think the journey that I've taken for last 30 years, I've literally grown up with my family, which is the cinema family. Right from being a teenager to now being a mom. I think I've seen every decade that I've passed through, the last three decades, seen so many wonderful directors, producers come and say such wonderful stories. Seen so many of my colleagues, work so hard and give their best performances, inspired me as well. So many of the technicians, who have given their soul, their sweat, their blood to the films that we do. But obviously when the film comes to the audience, you don't get to see their hard work. They are not mentioned that much. So when I think of my journey, the first thing that comes to my head is all those various people who were there with me right from the beginning, who were part of my journey, who helped me excel. So for me, those are the memories that I have of my last 30 years. I have memories of my films doing well, memories of my films not doing well, memories of all the support that I have got through the years, from friends, family, fans, media, journalists, my peers. So yeah, it feels wonderful to be in an industry where there's so much love that you get, sometimes even more than sometimes some people might think that we deserve. But our fans love us unconditionally. They make us part of their family. So yeah, it's just wonderful to be in an industry like this. An industry that I didn't choose, a career that I didn't choose. But I was accidentally made part of, and then I completely fell in love with it.
You've been a bankable star for 3 decades now, and you're giving successful films without a male lead, even now. It's quite rare for an actress to stay on top of a game for so long and survive in this industry, which is still male-dominated. And you've broken quite a few myths associated with actresses along the way, whether it's them having a shorter shelf life or not headlining films, post-motherhood and marriage. What does it take to carve a niche as a dependable actor and have this kind of stardom and longevity?
I think it's also the kind of stories that you want to tell. It's also the characters that you want to play, which are more authentic. Characters that come out very real and authentic to the audience. Something that they want to come and watch. Stories that are compelling enough for them to come to the theatres. Choosing scripts which are all heart rather than calculation. So I think those are very, very important to basically have this longevity that you talk about. And of course, with each decade, the audience changing. Because I think the audience that saw me as a Kuch Kuch Hota Hai girl, they also grew up with me. So with each decade, I've had people grow up with me, an audience changing, so an audience, getting more and more, I would say, exposed to world cinema, global cinema, and seeing that how actresses out there also work without having the shelf life being spoken about. So even people, when they see actors abroad, they do the same. So I think they've started to accept people for their craft rather than what's happening in their personal life. So I think it's all about craft now. It's all about what you do on the screen rather than what you're up to in your personal space.
You spoke about it being all about the craft. You brought a lot of freshness on screen when you started off with films like Kuch Kuch Hota and Gulam. And then, of course, you went on to do an array of author-backed, complex, diverse roles across genres, whether it was Satya, Black, Hitchki. Now we see you're pushing women's issues through your films as well. Is that deliberate? Is that a conscious effort?
I don't think it's deliberate or it's a conscious effort, but I think, as I told you, that I've grown up in cinema. So I think with each passing decade, I've also grown from a girl to a woman. Also, my priorities have changed. So I think the choice of films or the choice of scripts reflect the person I've become or the woman that I've become. And the changes could be my becoming a mom, could be changes in me, growing up, and there are certain issues that probably are more important to me today than probably it was maybe 20 years back. Maybe I wasn't thinking about those things as much as I'm thinking about those things today. So it's about what you kind of relate with at a particular age in your life. So yeah, so it's not like conscious, but I think it's subconscious in a way.
Okay, but in this age of alpha males on screen, you successfully led a female cop franchise. Mardaani 3, the third installment, was the biggest hit in the franchise. You really broken the proverbial glass ceiling with your choices, with your offbeat roles. Is this something that you plan to continue doing ahead? What is the intent, and what is the impact of the representation of women on screen with such films?
I think what's very important for me is that I've never chased any trend. I've never chased any, when you're supposed to do a certain thing at a supposed time. I've always reacted with my heart towards any script that comes to me, whether it was Mrs. Chatterjee versus Norway or Mardaani or Hitchki. For me, it's not about what's going to happen when the film releases and how many crores it's going to make. I think it's more about me wanting to win the audience's heart. It's more about me wanting to make a difference with a storytelling or a story that I want to tell the audience, which I think is very important. And it's something that I've always believed in, the honesty of the story that I want to tell. And with utmost honesty, there's nothing crafty in that. There is no manipulation that there should be a song that should come in, or there should be this, or there should be that. I think stay true to the storytelling, stay true to the genre, and I've always been confident that when you say something with sincerity and honesty, that honesty reflects on the audience as well, and the audience can read it. They can read the vibe, they can sense the vibe, and I think that's how they come in and watch the film, because that's what is most important. And representation of women in cinema is a huge responsibility. And I think all of us, not only me, there are a lot of my peers, who are doing that continuously. And we all are trying to shape the language of Indian cinema, or the representation of women in Indian cinema beautifully, with different roles, different characters, and strong characters, whether it's in cinema, whether it's on the OTT platform. I think everybody's getting, equal opportunities and really exciting opportunities to portray women from different walks of life and show their powerful side.
Tell us about your craft. How has it evolved over the years? How do you build the characters that you play on screen?
I think for me, it's important for me to relate with the character that I'm playing. As a woman that I am, and as a girl, as a person, I think my personal experiences, my rights and wrongs, what I feel is good or evil, my the path that I've chosen in my life, the way I've chose to live my life. I think these are all the impressions that kind of mix when I'm reading a script or a character. And when I get inspired by the character myself, and if I'm really pulled towards the character and I feel that this is the character I want the audience to watch, because this is the story of this woman who's so stunning and so strong and so courageous. And that excites me. When I feel that this woman, this is what she's doing day in and day out. And this is a story that needs to be told about her. And when I'm inspired, I think I automatically start emoting naturally. And that character and me kind of become one. Like we kind of become an amalgamation, like the soul kind of emerges and becomes one of the character and of me as Rani.
Rani, you're an extremely emotional person and someone who deeply values personal relations. Do your personal values and sensitive core shape your performances as well?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the women in the audience will agree. I think as women, at every stage of our lives, we are always evolving, from a daughter to a sister to a friend to a wife to a mother to a grandmother. I think it's aunt, we're constantly evolving, and the relationships that we make throughout our lives, I think they impact us in different ways. There are certain things we take from our relationships, we learn from them. There are certain things that we teach in a way which is not intended, but it happens because of the way we are with each other. So I think those, like to be an empath, to actually have empathy for, emotions, I think that really helps in the craft, because you can't really feel the same emotion that the character is feeling, but somewhere we have to connect some other emotion that we must have felt, and we kind of amalgamate it in the scene. So to an audience, it looks like we are emoting exactly what the character is feeling at that point of time.
You are known to push the boundaries of excellence with your performances, but is there a role which has tested you the most, either physically or emotionally?
I think Devika from Mrs. Chatterjee versus Norway and Hitchki Naina Mathur. I think both those characters, and of course Black, I can't forget Black. I think these three characters have been very, very inspiring for me to actually know them so close, and to know about them and the struggles that they went through personally in their lives, and the battles that they've had to face day in and day out, whether it was Naina Mathur dealing with her Tourette's and fighting it and making that her own, and not giving up, and chasing her dream, to Devika, fighting an entire nation to bring back her children. Emotion of a mother to be separated from her little children. It's catastrophic if you actually go to feel that how does she pass those many hours in a day without her children. It's very, very painful. To, of course, Michelle McNally in Black, to have the challenges of not being able to see or hear or talk, and to live with those challenges day in and day out, and to be able to motor through and go about your life. I think these characters have inspired me to be even more grateful in life. So I think these have been wonderful characters.
Yeah, Rani, you've won several accolades for your performances, and deservedly so. But you've not been immune to criticism and rejections either. How have you channelized those into your strengths?
I think it's very important to understand criticism coming from a very constructive place, because people who criticize you are the people who are actually vouching for you, and you have affected them in a way that they want to criticize you. So you've made an impact, positively or negatively. And one needs to understand that through the criticism, through the, they might not be able to articulate the criticism in a way that it might sound positive, but criticism always makes way for self-analysis, looking at yourself and understanding where you could do better, where you could have gone wrong, and to kind of self-correct as well. Sometimes you need a reality check to come from somewhere for you to be able to understand that probably this is the area where you need to work on. So I think it is important, criticism, failures, because if you don't experience failures, you can't understand or appreciate the success that comes after. So I think both are equally important.
You spoke about Mrs. Chatterjee versus Norway being one of your toughest roles. It won you a national award finally. Was it an unfulfilled wish that finally came true?
I think for an actor, an audience's love is, I would say, the most important, because till they don't give you a thumbs up, you can never say that you have been accepted. Having said that, I think as actors in the profession that we are, right now I'm on stage, it's very important to get acknowledged, get praised for your work. You want to see the effect on people. You want people to say that they have been affected by your performance. The performance has moved them. And when you get appreciated for your hard work and your performance, that I would say is something that we actors live for. When you hear the claps, when you hear the appreciation, those are things that you live for. We work so hard every day of our lives, and we perform and we try to excel in our craft only because we want the appreciation. So appreciation in terms of awards are also special. Appreciation in terms of box office is also special. Appreciation in terms of having a good review is also very important. So I think it's an amalgamation of everything.
Yeah, your conversation reveals that there is so much that has gone into the making of the icon that you are. For someone who did not want to act initially to becoming one of the finest actors of Indian cinema, I mean, people see the fame, the good side of stardom, but I'm sure there's a lot of hard work, there are a lot of sacrifices involved.
I think there is hard work in every profession that we do, whether it's in films, whether it's in business, whether it's in everyday jobs that people do, daily wage workers. I think hard work is there everywhere. So I think hard work should never be a criteria to, say that as an actor I'm special because I do hard work. I have to do. That is part of my job. But I think what is important is not to give up, because, as actors we are also kept on a pedestal, and then we are thrown from that pedestal as well. What is important is to keep striving, to keep doing your best work, to keep reinventing, to keep understanding what is working, what is not working, and continue to keep working, and have those horses blinkers. And I'm also a horse in the Chinese calendar. So I'm very much like that. I always have my blinkers on and I'm always forging ahead. So for me, hard work is not something that I would say needs to be discussed in a special way. I think hard work is a given. You have to work hard. So I just feel it's your passion that finally gets you through. Because if you're passionate about something, you might fail, but you'll want to again strive to come back and do your best. But if you are not passionate about the work that you're doing, then that could make you disillusioned. Because you're like, I don't love it also, I don't have the passion also, and then I'm failing also. Then to get back is much tougher. So if you have passion for your craft, for your work, then you'll keep reinventing and coming back.
So when did you realize that you belong to this industry? You didn't want to act. Your mother pushed you into acting.
I think I fell in love with cinema through the years. It's like, for me, it's been like an arranged marriage. So it was not love at first sight, it was not love marriage. It was arranged. And through the arrangement, I think I understood how beautiful a cinema is, how beautiful the craft of acting is, how beautiful it is when you are telling a story, and how you can move people with the storytelling, and how you can move people through your work. So I think I fell in love with my craft.
Rani, 30 years in the industry. You've literally seen the industry change over the years. I think from the time when you began, probably it was a simple setup with maybe one secretary, no contracts, no scripts, to what is a much larger ecosystem now. You have actors with entourages, there are vanity vans, there's social media, there is aggressive film promotion. How do you perceive this shift, this change?
I think change is constant, right? So I think the way to, I would say, conquer the world, or you have to go with time. You have to move with time. You have to change with time. And you have to adapt. You can't say that, okay, I don't belong from this time and so I won't do it. It's not. You can't be rigid and arrogant about your time, or about the fact that you don't agree with certain things. Yes, there are things that you might have a boundary that, okay, this is as much as I can do. But at the same time, it's important to recognize how impactful, how powerful probably the social media platform is, and how it is making changes for the current generation, and how important it is for people to have a voice through social media. So I think there are the good parts and there are the bad parts. Also about the changing trends of how you said about the other things that come with today's actors. I think it is how it is. You can't sit and change things. You have to adjust and accept and move on. And I always say that in our industry, it's so, there is no rule anywhere. So if you don't want to follow it, you don't have to. It's not a school. You can do what you want to do, and you can accept what you want, and you can reject what you don't. So it's also a matter of choice. What is the choice that you're making? Are you trying to make your life more complicated, or you want to just be simple and work your way up simply?
One thing that hasn't changed, though, is your respect for your privacy. You're still not on social media. You make very few public appearances. Do you prefer being low-key and let your work do the talking?
I think as an actor, that's what my job is, to make my work talk. I think people are interested to see what I do on screen. Am I good with the character that I played? I think beyond that, I don't know why would they want to know what I'm doing in my personal life. I would not want to know about anybody's personal life. So I put that logic into my head, and I feel that what is important is they want to see me on screen, they want to see my craft, my work. Beyond that, I feel, there are certain things that I'm not comfortable sharing. And that's a personal choice, not because I'm against anything or not, but it's something that the way I've probably grown up to have those boundaries. So maybe I'm not comfortable, but that's today. Tomorrow it might shift, it might change. I might just make my debut on social media. Who knows? As they say, never say never.
We look forward to that. But as you said, people look forward to your performances. And right now, what is being discussed is what you've done in Mardaani 3. What does it feel to headline such a film and bring such characters to light?
For me, I find it extremely empowering. I feel extremely, I would say, I feel it's so heartening to see that people have actually gone and watched my movie on screen and made it such a resounding success. The fact that they want to go and see a film that does not have the trappings of, say, a so-called commercial film with songs or with comedy, or, anything that is, the format of what they would call it to be a commercial film. But Mardaani as a film is all heart. It is about empowering women. It is about a lady, Shivani Shivaji Roy, a cop, who represents the millions and the brilliant cops that we have in our country, women cops, who are tirelessly working day in and day out, and the kind of work that they do. And it's literally like a salute to the women police force, who are not celebrated as much as they need to be celebrated. And through Shivani Shivaji Roy, I get an opportunity to play one of them and to portray their life on screen, which is very, very difficult. And with that, bringing about stories of all the problems that probably little girls, young girls, women are facing in society today, and making people aware of those problems, which is very, very important. Sometimes we want to live in a cushioned world, and we want to feel that everything is hunky-dory, and you don't want to see the realities. But today, unfortunately, the way the world has become, you have to be aware of what's going on, and you have to be ready to be able to protect yourself. I think that is very important.
And Mrs. Chatterjee versus Norway, your first national award. What was your initial reaction, the first reaction when you got to know that you won it, and how did it feel to receive it?
I think my first reaction was I thought of my dad, because while my dad was alive, he was very, very, I would say, heartbroken when I didn't win for a particular film of mine, which is Black. And throughout his life, till the time he lived, he always wished that for me. And when I got to know that I won it, I think he was the first person I thought of who would probably have jumped with joy. But I saw that in my mother. She just had tears rolling down because she thought about my dad as well. So yeah, it was a beautiful moment because I was incidentally in the same place where my dad passed. And I really felt surreal, I would say, a kind of a connection or a blessing, sort of, because my mum, my bhabhi, they were all there with me. So yeah, it was really, truly special to know that my work has been appreciated for a film that was so close to my heart.
How did you prepare for that role? It was so tough. It was so tough.
So we shot during COVID, and we were in a bubble in Tallinn. And my daughter was 4 years old, and she had to do homeschooling. So all I remember during Mrs. Chatterjee versus Norway was that I used to leave for work in the morning at 6, and she had to be in front of the computer at 6 o'clock, because in Bombay it used to be 9 in the morning, and in Tallinn the time was 6. So we both used to wake up at 5:30. I used to go to shoot. She used to start her homeschooling. And we both, mother and daughter, battled through it. And it was amazing because these are the stories that will remain with me forever in my heart. What happens during the shoot of a film. The challenges that we face, and my husband was away in Bombay. He was obviously not with us. So I somewhere feel that as a family, they have stood by me. They have helped me navigate through my career and my craft. And so my memories are of shooting with these wonderful Estonian actors, technicians, crew in Estonia, in Tallinn. All the wonderful people who traveled from Calcutta, the actors and technicians from Bombay. And all of us wanted to make this film very special because it was a very, very important story to be told. So I think we all were equally geared to make a really, really good film which should touch the audiences and make an impact on the audience's heart. And it eventually did. So I have very, very fond memories of my time and talent with my daughter, with my crew. Walking about in Old Town in Talent, showing her how things were 300-400 years back in Europe. So it was nice, to be there and see Adhira's journey as well, my journey as well. So yeah, these are going to be memories for me which will last forever.
Rani, you're an icon of excellence. Millions look up to you as their role model. Many people want to join the industry. Not everybody succeeds. What is your advice to people who want to enter the film industry?
I think my only advice to people who want to join the industry should be that they should join the industry if they really love the craft. I think a lot of people are confused with the glamour that associates itself with the profession, the recognition, the fame. I think it's important to really enter the industry if you really, really are somebody who loves the craft of filmmaking, if you really love being part of this profession, which is very hard at times, but you power through it because you love it. And there is going to be rejection, failure, and success. And it's important to go through all three things with dignity and with and grace, because if you crumble, this place is not for you. It's not for the faint-hearted.
Yeah. Did you ever feel like quitting at any point of time?
I, by nature, am not a quitter because I'm an Aryan and I'm a firebrand and I like a go-getter. So quitting is not really in my dictionary per se. As a woman, as a person, right from childhood, I've always been a go-getter. I've not been a quitter. So no, so quitting is not, it's a very harsh word because it's an extreme. But yeah, there were days where I did think that it is difficult and how do I go about it? But I think I've had a lot of faith in the audience, in my work, in my craft, and in the honesty that I bring in to whatever I'm doing. So I always feel that it might be delayed, but it will be fine because it can't always be the same. Like if you're successful, it's not as if you're going to be successful always. So if you are failing, it's not as if you're going to be failing all the time. But you have to keep working. You have to keep striving for that brilliance that you can bring in to your capacity, and then keep hoping for the best.
What is your mindset during these times? How do you come out of it? It's not easy, I'm sure.
Of course, it's not easy, but I think it's important, and that's where I say that passion comes into the play. So if you are passionate about your craft, you'll want to better it. You'll want to keep holding on to it. It's like आपको मीठा पसंद है, तो आप मीठा खाना छोड़ नहीं देंगे ना अगर घर पे कोई बनाएगा नहीं. आप बाहर जाके आप खरीद ही लोगे, और you'll try and do something. You learn skill to make a rasgulla or a mithai or a cake. So I think it's just about that. It's like how much are you willing to work towards rebuilding something that you feel has come to an end.
30 years in the industry, what are your learnings from this entire journey?
My learnings have been see people want to excel every second of being on that set. The madness that we have behind each shot, the kind of attention to detail, whether it's the light guy, whether it's the cameraman, whether it's the director, whether it's the actors, whether it's the costume, hair, makeup, everybody's focus is how to get that one shot right. And I think that madness is what drives us. And that's my learning, that we continuously keep wanting to better and better ourselves. And we are absolutely, I would say, obsessed with wanting to get things right. And that's what I feel. The learning is to never give up that love for getting every shot right. I think the day I lose the passion to get that shot right, I think that's the day that I would say quits.
Is there a performance where you feel that you got it entirely right?
I think as actors, we are not people who should decide that for ourselves. I think it's always the director who is the first audience, who is the person who decides whether you've done a good shot or is the shot good enough for him to say okay and move on. So it's very important that the director feels that you have given the best and it's his decision. And then, of course, it's an audience who decides whether you've done good work or no.
Rani, the one grievance that fans have against you is that we don't get to see you enough on the big screen. You are very selective. I know your family takes precedence, but you like to balance it out with...
No, it's not that. It's not as if the family takes precedence or my personal life takes precedence. I think my career and my work is equally important to me, if not more. I think for a woman, it's very important. Her own personality, her own career is very, very important. And this is, my career has made me who I am. So I would not say that I don't do a film because I want to give more importance to something else. I think I don't do a film is because something is not exciting enough for me to be wanting to do it. And I never want to just do films for the sake of doing films. So yeah, it's important for me to be excited with a project. And believe you me, if I'm excited, I would work even more often.
So will we get to see more of you on the big screen now?
Absolutely.
Rani, it was your birthday 3 days ago, and I think all the fans must be happy with this gift that you've given all of them by saying that we are going to see more of you and
Absolutely.
you're going to do more films. Rani, you're an absolute superstar and an actor par brilliance. But above all, you're a picture of grace, an epitome of humility, and someone who's dignified in everything that she does. No wonder you're called the Queen of Hearts. Thank you so
Kunal.
much for your time
Thank you.
and this conversation.
Thank you
We
for
wish you all the
kindness.
best.
Thank you.